everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at the short and amazing catalogue from an incredible trio comprised of three of the best guitar players in the world who have all come from very different backgrounds and they all individually have their own unique styles and they came together to create Guitar Magic. And these three outstanding players, quite frankly, in my opinion, need no introduction whatsoever. I am talking about, of course, for one and only, Muthspiel, Grigoryan and Towner, better known as MGT. So, MGT is a guitar trio comprised of Austrian guitarist Wolfgang Muthspiel, Australian guitarist Slavia Grigoryan, and American guitarist Ralph Towner. And as I mentioned, these are three musicians who have very different backgrounds and very unique styles. Wolfgang Muthspiel comes from the jazz world, Slavia Grigoryan comes from the classical world, and Ralph Towner, although he is very rooted in the jazz realm, he leans much more closer to chamber style of music. And each member of the trio brings their own unique voice to the music, and each guitarist plays their own style of guitar. Wolfgang Muthspiel on electric guitar, Slavia Grigoryan on classical and baritone guitar, and Ralph Towner, of course, on his signature classical and 12-string guitar. So the music is mostly written and composed by Wolfgang Muthspiel and Ralph Towner, and each guitarist has their own spot. They have their own space to do their own thing. So sometimes you could have one guitarist on the left channel and the other guitarist on the right channel, and sometimes one of the guitarists could be in the center, and they all each take turns. And we've seen this on a number of occasions with various different guitar trios. One that comes to mind is, of course, the legendary guitar trio comprised of Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin, and Paco de Lucia. And of course, another great guitar trio that also comes to mind is the one comprised of Al Di Meola, Larry Coryell, and Borelli Legren. So we have seen the guitar trio format on a number of occasions, but what MGT brings to the table is a very laid back and chamber and almost atmospheric approach to their music that is, although at its core is jazz music, it's very much rooted in a classical style of music, and a lot of that is due to Slavia Grigoryan's background, as he is not only the youngest member of the MGT, but he is also a classically trained guitarist. And in MGT's short existence, they put out two excellent albums. And as always, I am going to be talking about each album individually, and I'll be choosing which one I think is the best one. So, this is quite an easy one for me because I've listened to both of these albums, and they're both great, and any of these albums could easily be an all-time favorite. And the beauty of both of these two albums is they're both different. Although it's three guitarists, when you listen to both of these albums, they don't sound the same. They both have big gaps between them because originally this was only supposed to be a one-off project, but due to the success of the first album, these guys decided to put out a second album, which, of course, as I mentioned, is very different to their first one. And as you'd expect from three world class guitar players, the music is absolutely incredible and 100% pure perfection. So, we're going to start with the first album, and this one came out in 2008, and this one is called From a Dream. So, From a Dream is the first MGT album, and it features Wolfgang Muthspiel on electric guitar, Slavia Grigoryan on classical and baritone guitar, and Ralph Towner on classical and 12-string guitar. And the music is at its core jazz, but there is very much a classical chamber style of music. It's very laid back and very pleasing to the ears, and the playing from all three musicians is excellent. And I love the way Wolfgang Muthspiel, although he's playing electric guitar, he kind of like takes on the role of where a bass player would be. So he provides lots of chords and textural colors to the music. So while the other two are very much playing acoustic guitars, Wolfgang Muthspiel is kind of like in the background, just like lending his support and contributions. But he still gets to solo quite a bit, but he really lets his electric guitar take on the role of a bass player, which is, quite frankly, in my opinion, absolutely incredible. And the music is not in a shredding style of music. This is very laid back and just three guys letting their instruments speak for themselves. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I think this album is absolutely beautiful. And from my understanding, this was very successful as well. So we're just going to have a quick look. So there is the three maestros. There's a little bit about how the project came together. And we also got here the track listings as well. So most of the compositions are written and composed by Ralph Towner and Wolfgang Muthspiel, and we've also got one standard. So Ralph Towner contributed 6 compositions, and Wolfgang Muthspiel contributed 3 compositions. And we've got one standard, as I mentioned, which is by Miles Davis. And you hear Wolfgang Muthspiel on the electric guitar, he's on the left channel, and Ralph Towner is in the center, and Slavia is on the right channel. So they kind of like take turns, but for the most part, this is pretty much the format these guys go for. And most of the tracks we feature the trio, although there are a couple of tracks where it's just 2 guitarists. So there's some tracks we get Ralph Towner and Wolfgang Muthspiel playing together, and we get one track where it's Ralph Towner and Slavia playing together, and we also get one track where it's Wolfgang and Slavia playing together, where also most of the tracks are just trio numbers, but absolutely excellent stuff. So we get the first track, which is Tamaruta, which is a gorgeous opener, In Stride, which is another great track, Beneath an Evening Sky is lovely, the iconic Miles Davis composition Nardis, which is absolutely memorable. And then we get the title track From a Dream, which is excellent. Eos is another great track. Shez Tadar is great. Icarus is great. And Bird's Eye View is excellent. And Hand in Hand. So it's absolutely wonderful music from top to bottom. A lot of the tracks are around the 5 to 6 minute mark. The shortest track is like 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and another short track is like 2 minutes and 3 seconds. And the longest track on here is like almost 7 minutes long, which is like the opener. But absolutely wonderful music. And the standout tracks for me are Nardis, Beneath an Evening Sky, Bird's Eye View, Icarus, Hand in Hand, Eos, and the title track From a Dream. But top to bottom, excellent stuff. A brilliant album showcasing 3 world class guitar players. And I would say that the standout guitarist out of all 3, all due respect to Muthspiel and Grigoryan, is of course Ralph Towner. He is born to play in this environment, and he's just shining on both classical and 12-string guitar. And Muthspiel and Girgoryan are definitely not to be sniffed at either. They are equally as brilliant as well. But I think Ralph Towner, to me, he's the standout guy of MGT. So there you have it. From a Dream, Excellent album and highly recommended for everyone who are fans of guitar playing, especially of this style. So there you have it, From a Dream. Excellent stuff. So we move on to the next album, and this one came out in 2013, and this one is called Travel Guide. So after the success of From a Dream, Manfred Eicher loved what he heard so much, he decided to sign MGT to ECM, and they put out their second album. And as much as I love From a Dream, Travel Guide is magic. And anytime you get a band or a musician on ECM, you know it's going to be good. And when you have the production duties overseen by Manfred Eicher, you know you're going to get a great sounding album. And Travel Guide is exactly that. So it's pretty much a continuation of the first album, but it's a little bit different, but still very enjoyable. So, of course, we've got Wolfgang Muthspiel on electric guitar, Slavia Grigoryan on classical and baritone guitars, and Ralph Towner on classical and 12-string guitars. Wonderful album, equally as good as the first one, and some excellent playing and some great material from all three musicians. So we're just going to have a quick look. So there is the tracks, and there is the three maestros. So a lot of the compositions, once again, are written and composed by both Ralph Towner and Wolfgang Muthspiel, and some longer pieces on this album as opposed to the first one, which kind of had like relatively shorter songs. So we've got the first track, the Henrysons, which is over 7 minutes long, absolutely lovely. And then we got Father Time, which is excellent. Wind Song is great. Duinde is great. Armorian Trio, which is one of my favourite songs from this album, absolutely great. Travel Guide, the title track, is excellent. Die Blau Stunde is great. Nico und Mifra is great. And Tarry, which is like the shortest track of the entire album, which is like 1 minute and 3 seconds, is great. And then we've got the closer, Museum of Light. What more can you say, really? A world class album from three outstanding musicians, and everybody just really gets to shine. And the music is a lot more thicker, a lot more broader, and there's definitely a lot more space on this album, which is one of the main hallmarks for ECM. You know, there's a lot of space in the music, and it gives everyone a chance to breathe and do their own thing. But top to bottom, this is just an absolute classic. So the standouts for me are Windsong, Father Time, Aramone Trio, Travel Guide, Tarry, and Museum of Light. But just a absolutely remarkable album. And this is the last album that these guys put out. So who knows, really? Maybe we might get a follow up. Who knows? But a wonderful album and a very successful album, too. And as much as I love the first album, I think this one is even better. So there you have it. Travel Guide, an excellent follow up to From a Dream. Just absolutely wonderful stuff from three world class guitar players. So there you have it. Travel Guide. Love it. So, which MGT album do I think is the best one? Well, we've only got two. They're both excellent. From a Dream is great, but for me, I'm going with Travel Guide. I think Travel Guide is on ECM, of course, which helps, but I just think this album is probably a lot more stronger than From a Dream. Not taking anything away from that album, it's great, but I think Travel Guide is just a little bit better and a little bit more stronger. And I think with the first album, you know, I'm not saying the production is bad. The production is excellent, but come on, it's ECM. You know, it's Manfred Eicher. You know you're going to get a great sounding album, and this sounds excellent. and everyone just really gets to shine. And it's just a remarkable album. And I hope these guys get back together and make a third album. It will be absolutely tremendous. But we've only got two, but I would say Travel Guide for me is the better album of the two, in my opinion. So there you have it. Travel Guide, for my money, the best MGT album from Wolfgang Muthspiel, Slavia Grigoryan, and Ralph Towner. Wonderful stuff and highly recommended for all guitar fans. So there you have it, Travel Guide. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite MGT album? Is it From a Dream or Travel Guide? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite albums. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.